Trump may have actually bought into like the Elon Musk hype and the Elon Musk PR. And you see this with some of the wealthiest people in the world is they'll do like a multi-year full court press to sort of make themselves appear heroic and amazing and brilliant and etc. You saw this with Bill Gates. You see this with Elon Musk. And Elon Musk, he has good PR. Now he's sort of ruined it a little bit because he's way too vocal and he says insane things. And like, so his approval rating has fallen massively. But I sort of fear that that Trump is almost in that same Rogan mindset where Rogan appears to genuinely think that Elon Musk is like God's gift to the earth and he has like a 250 IQ and that this guy, like, who am I with my little peanut brain to ever disagree with you, sir? That's sort of Rogan's mindset. And I kind of fear that maybe Trump has the same view, which is why to this point, he's yet to do the public breakup with him. And because Trump, if he really wants to, he's the one with the movement behind him. He could kill anybody in this movement. He could just
I agree.
Totally, like, look what happened to Jeff Flake, the Republican who like disagreed with Trump, and then Trump was like, okay, you're done. And then he was done. Right. And so do you think we will get to the point where Trump effectively throws Elon under the bus and makes him the fall guy for some problem in the administration? Or do you think he truly is intimidated and he's bought in to the mythology of Elon as this mega genius who can never be disagreed with?
I wish I had a greater insight into his actual thoughts and feelings. Sometimes I find it a little alien brain to try to consider and ponder. Some people are able to appreciate and have a better sense of his head than I do at times. And I struggle with that, to be honest with you. But I hope he's not charmed.
Yeah.
I do think that you're right that Rogan, I almost said Seth Rogen, Joe Rogan is charmed by Elon Musk. And that's not a position that you want to be in because they will sell this country down the river.
Of course.
They will get rid of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. They will fuck over the American worker in every possible way. And so if we're in a bad situation, it's almost between the devil you know and the devil you don't. I don't know what kind of authoritarian shit Trump has planned if he were like quote unquote in control. But honestly, I am incredibly fearful of if Elon Musk has the reins. I'm incredibly concerned if the robber barons actually have the support and Trump almost is a marginal figure in his own administration. As crazy as that is to say out loud, I think that personnel is policy.
Right.
And these just the nature of the presidency. You saw, honestly, with Joe Biden, a lot of it is delegated, maybe Joe Biden more so than other presidencies, but a lot of it's delegated. And I fear that in all of this, the people with real power are going to be these robber barons. And if that's the truth, if he's really charmed, and I don't have a great insight there, I think we're all kind of fucked and we need to be even stronger against these people.
Yeah. And it strikes me that Elon Musk sort of skates on all of his con artistry, and that drives me crazy as well, because I sort of feel the same way about Elon that I feel about Trump, where like you'll have 1,000 stories that just show Trump's this hideous, disgusting, grotesque, corrupt fraud. And then you see the same thing about Elon, but he still has this army of people who are just incredibly sycophantic to him. And it's like, are you just ignoring all of the businesses that were clear scams that went belly up? Whatever happened to the Hyperloop? Whatever happened to getting us on Mars in 10 years? It's been 13 years since he announced we'll be on Mars in 10 years. And this is a guy who gets $20 billion in corporate welfare, right? And to your point, this robber baron thing, like, I don't understand why more people don't object to this idea of Doge in principle, saying that, like, I don't even if Elon Musk was the smartest guy in the world, we should not delegate our democratic government to a philosopher king where he gets to control policy. And the reason he's in this position is because he's the richest man in the world. I mean, this is like medieval peasant brain where it's like you're assuming there's a level of meritocracy because he's really wealthy, when in reality, I talk about this all the time on my show, 60% of billionaires come from extreme wealth and privilege. These are not just the brightest, the most intelligent, the hardest working. No, not even close. And so I can't understand for the life of me why more people don't object in principle. This is a point Crystal makes all the time to Doge, that like, no, like
as a structural matter.
Front, the structure. Yeah. No, we're not doing this. That's why even like I disagreed with Bernie when Bernie, I agree with Doge. We should cut the Pentagon. It's like trying to play footsies to get good outcomes, which I understand that mindset. I'm not saying he's a sellout. I'm just saying you need to object up front on principle that we do not just delegate our government to a robber baron philosopher king who has to make all the decisions.
Yeah, and let me give the counter and then debunk it as well, because I think that I don't need to explain to you, but just for the audience. So the counter is going to be like, well, Congress needs to approve any budget, and so everything's going to have the stamp of approval. I understand that is technically true, but the way that it's structured in this way where it's a formal pseudo agency or pseudo department, And because Trump has the whip in hand, it is going to be as though Elon has the force of law and all effective, in all practical purposes. It's going to be as though Elon is having the red pen and striking things he doesn't like, sometimes on a whim, sometimes as a meme. It seems like Doge itself is a meme. There's an absurd cruelty about that as well, where he could read a tweet from who the fuck knows, cat turd, and that could have a massive impact on your life. Sometimes the flippancy with which things are done to me, that's part of the evilness of it, and part of why it's not good to centralize power in the hands of one person. But to your point, yeah, I think there needs to be a forceful opposition to that structure, even in the first place. I put different levels of this kind of servility and surrender to Trumpism and to MAGA and to Doge, where people who I consider to be like saying, hey, Elon Musk is this brilliant guy, like the Fettermans of the world, who are just like heaping unnecessary praise on him. Like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Like, have some spine. Have some spine to fight back against this robber baron. I put that in a different category than like Ro Khanna, who I think is playing more footsie than someone like Bernie is, and I don't like it at all. And then Bernie, who I think is trying to play the game, and I just think it gets lost in the wind. But if he were, for example, to vote for RFK, as he's playing a little bit of footsie with, RFK has some good ideas on food. Who cares? The dude's like against the polio vaccine and is like obviously not someone, to your point about even the structure of it, the structure of his brain, put aside the worm, if he's able to believe crazy shit on the basis of no evidence or fake evidence or whatever, it's not about, well, does he have some ideas? It's about how you think, not what you think.
Right.
And what are the incentive structure, for example, of Doge or of RFK? That's what matters, in my opinion, because we don't know what's going to be the pandemic down the line. We don't know what's coming next. We need to make sure these people are capable and having the right incentives and not the wrong incentives. And that's why I disagree with this whole footsie to all the degrees. I recognize the different categories and I appreciate them, but I disagree with all of it. I think we just need to be strong and oppositional.
RFK, he believes in junk science. He doesn't actually believe in science. He's the kind of person who would talk up alternative medicine, right? It's not connected to big pharma, therefore it's like better for you. But there's a reason why alternative medicine has the label alternative, because it didn't make the cut to be actual medicine. When you actually have the double-blind placebo-controlled studies, would you look at that? This shit doesn't work. Kash Patel, who Trump has picked, he was hawking a pill, a supplement that he claimed reversed the mRNA vaccine. These are the kinds of people that we're dealing with. I don't trust anything when it comes to science and RFK. I don't trust it. Like you said, his whole process and way of reasoning through this makes no sense. Here's a guy who hates big pharma. He's clearly on testosterone. He clearly takes pharmaceutical grade testosterone. Why is it all the big pharma stuff is poisoning you, except the one that I really like. You saw this on the right when they would play up the monoclonal antibodies during COVID, but shit on the vaccine. They're like, I'm against big pharma, so I'm against the vaccine. Do you like monoclonal antibodies? Yeah, I like monoclonal. Who do you think makes that? Who do you think makes that? Is it Target?
It's so preposterous.
Is it PetSmart? Like, what is wrong with you people? So I agree with you. That's my problem with these people, especially when it comes to RFK. He just believes in junk science. He thinks raw milk is healthier than pasteurized milk. That is literally objectively 100% incorrect. And the fact that you got to the place where you thought that was true tells me your brain does not work well. So I don't know if you want to blame that on the worm or just say the dude has a horrible thought process and isn't that bright. However he got there, I don't care. So I agree with you when it comes to Bernie and when it comes to RFK, for sure.
Remember Christopher Hitchens?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, because everyone loved those new atheist stuff and those debates and stuff, and Hitchens was one of the stronger guys. He was very in favor of the Iraq War, as you're aware.
Mm-hmm.
But the 2008 election, people would come up to be like, "Hey, Obama's running. He's obviously in favor of the Afghanistan war, but he's against the Iraq war, and he's running against the Iraq war. So why are you going to vote for Obama?" And he said something to the effect of, and he had probably other reasons as well, because he was kind of a left-wing guy, hard to categorize. John McCain is a cancer patient who is close to death, and Sarah Palin is nuts, and something to this effect, right? And I don't trust like her brain. I don't want her to be in the presidency, not because, although I'm sure he had a lot of policy disagreements, but because she is not a serious person.
Right.
I think that is the kind of attitude that even if you agree with some things in RFK, or even if you agree, on defunding some of this Doge stuff, if the process is fucked, you can't predict what's going to come down the line. You don't know what kind of economic crisis is going to occur. We are installing people human beings and structures and systems that need to be plastic